Ethan Kross had everything Silicon Valley worshipped. His company's software ran silently behind banks, hospitals, and governments. When he walked into rooms, conversations softened. When he spoke, people listened, not because he was loud but because his success had trained them to. Yet every night, alone in his glass-walled penthouse, Ethan felt hollow. His achievements echoed but never answered him. Money had solved every visible problem, yet something unseen remained broken. He wondered if fulfillment was something money had once promised him, and quietly failed to deliver. Ethan's days were ruled by metrics: valuation, growth curves, market dominance. His assistants shielded him from inconvenience. His calendar was optimized down to the minute. But when meetings ended and applause faded, there was nothing waiting for him. No family dinners. No deep friendships. Just silence and screens. The more wealth he accumulated, the less he felt connected to the world outside his success. The idea came disguised as humor. During a late board meeting, someone laughed. You could give away $1 million and not even notice. Everyone chuckled, except Ethan. That night, the sentence replayed in his mind. What would happen if I did? Not charity. Not generosity. But truth. He wrote 2 words in a notebook before sunrise: social experiment. Ethan obsessed over the rules. No publicity. No cameras. No applications. Recipients would be chosen randomly and offered $1 million. No strings attached. They'd have 10 minutes to decide. Advisors warned him of legal risks. Friends questioned his sanity. Ethan ignored them all. He wasn't trying to help people. He was trying to understand them. The first recipient was a woman struggling to raise 2 children alone. When Ethan explained the offer, she broke down in tears and accepted instantly. Weeks later, she paid debts, moved cities, and stopped answering messages. Ethan expected to feel joy. Instead, he felt nothing, only confirmation that money moved quickly and disappeared just as fast. More recipients followed. Some invested wisely. Some destroyed their lives faster than before. One lost everything gambling. Another cut off everyone they knew. Ethan documented it all. Charts, outcomes, behavioral shifts. The data was rich. His emotions were empty. Giving away money became Ethan's refuge from his own thoughts. Each transfer delayed the question haunting him. Why doesn't this feel meaningful? He increased the pace. Faster selections. Less reflection. His company noticed his absence. Executives complained of missed meetings. Investors sensed instability. Ethan's attention drifted during critical decisions. You're losing focus, his CEO warned. Ethan replied calmly, I'm finally seeing clearly. He didn't realize clarity was costing him everything else. Regulators began asking questions. Unusual transfers raised red flags. The press whispered about secret philanthropy. Ethan pressed on anyway. He told himself the experiment had to be completed. Just a few more. The final selection brought Ethan to a small community library on a rainy afternoon. The man was unremarkable at first glance. Early 30s, calm eyes, modest clothes. His name was Noah Reed. Ethan explained the offer, expecting shock. Noah simply listened. I can't accept this, Noah said quietly. Ethan blinked. You misunderstand. It's a gift. I understand perfectly, Noah replied. That's why I'm saying no. No one had ever refused him before. They sat down instead of shaking hands. Noah spoke of his life, simple, stable, purposeful. He loved his work. He mentored local kids. He had enough. Money solves problems, Noah said, but it also replaces meaning if you let it. Ethan felt exposed. Why are you doing this? Noah asked. Ethan tried to explain. Research, impact, curiosity. The words sounded hollow even to him. I think, Ethan admitted, I wanted proof that money still mattered. Noah nodded. Maybe it doesn't. At least not like you believe. Within weeks, everything unraveled. Regulators froze accounts. Investors fled. The board voted to remove Ethan as CEO. His empire collapsed faster than it had risen. And the only thing that stayed with him was the memory of the man who refused $1 million. The silence after losing everything was louder than any boardroom. No assistants knocking. No urgent calls. No one asking for his opinion. Ethan sat in a modest apartment, staring at boxes he hadn't unpacked. The fall hadn't been gradual, it had been absolute. One signature removed his authority. One vote erased his identity. For the first time in decades, he didn't know who he was without his title. Days blurred together. Ethan avoided news articles, investor blogs, and old contacts. He walked instead, Long, aimless walks through neighborhoods he'd never noticed before. People passed him without recognition. It stung more than he expected. He realized how much of his self-worth had been borrowed from other people's admiration. No matter how far he walked, Noah's words followed him. Money solves problems, but it replaces meaning if you let it. Ethan replayed their conversation obsessively. The refusal, the calm certainty, the lack of envy. It disturbed him more than any financial loss. Ethan tried therapy, books, silence. None of it worked. Finally, he did the only thing that felt honest. He went back to the library. Noah recognized him immediately. "I wondered if you'd come back," Noah said. "I lost everything," Ethan replied. Noah nodded. "I know. That tends to happen when identity and wealth are the same thing." There was no judgment, only truth. Ethan expected advice. Noah offered work. "Shelves need organizing," Noah said. "And kids need mentors." It wasn't a job offer. It was an invitation. Ethan accepted without hesitation. The first day humbled him. No applause. No decisions. Just simple tasks. Yet something shifted. Each completed task had weight. Each conversation felt real. He slept better that night than he had in years. A young boy asked Ethan for help with homework. No recognition. No expectations. Ethan realized this was impact without transaction. Value without validation. It terrified him how unfamiliar it felt. Weeks passed. Ethan stayed. Together, he and Noah talked about rebuilding, not wealth but purpose. "What if," Ethan said, "we stop giving money and start giving access?" Noah smiled. "Now you're asking better questions." Ethan used what remained of his wealth discreetly. Scholarships, mentorship programs, skill training. No press. No branding. The results were slower, but deeper. Not everything worked. Some programs failed. Some people quit. Ethan didn't panic. He learned. Failure no longer threatened his identity, it refined it. Ethan followed news of former recipients. Some were thriving. Others had fallen apart. He finally understood. Money magnified who people already were. It had never been the answer. Only the amplifier. One evening, Noah asked, "Do you miss the old life?" Ethan thought carefully. "No," he said. "I miss who I thought I was becoming." And for the first time, that felt like progress. Years passed, measured not in profit but in presence. Ethan stopped tracking net worth and started tracking names, students, families, lives slowly unfolding. Time became his most valuable currency. He gave it freely without expecting return. Ironically, it was the richest he had ever felt. A former investor reached out quietly. A new venture. Ethical. Profitable. Controlled. Ethan listened, then declined. "I'm not afraid of money," he said. "I'm afraid of losing myself again." The call ended respectfully. Permanently. One of the children Ethan mentored returned years later, now confident, educated, hopeful. "I didn't need money," the young man said. "I needed someone to believe in me." Ethan understood then what his experiment had missed. "You ever regret it?" Noah asked one evening. Ethan smiled. "I regret not learning sooner." They watched the library lights turn off one by one. Some lessons arrive only when there's nothing left to lose. Ethan's name faded from headlines. New billionaires replaced him. New scandals emerged. The world moved fast. But the people around him didn't forget. A young entrepreneur approached Ethan with trembling hands. "I built this using your old framework," he said. "I want you in." The numbers were massive. Ethan paused, longer this time. Ethan remembered the $1 million refusal. The quiet dignity. The freedom of saying no. He declined again. "I already took the deal that mattered," he said. That night, Ethan wrote a letter to his younger self. "You weren't wrong to chase success. You were wrong to think it was the destination." He sealed it without an address. Money taught Ethan power, speed, and scale. Loss taught him patience, humility, and presence. Only one of those stayed when everything else disappeared. There was no foundation in his name. No building with his face. Just people who quietly lived better lives. And that was enough. "If you'd taken the money," Ethan asked Noah once, "would I be here?" Noah smiled. "Probably not. Some gifts only work when refused." Ethan woke one morning without urgency. No meetings. No regrets. Just a full day ahead. Years ago, Ethan thought he was testing humanity. In the end, the experiment tested him. And the one person who refused $1 million gave him something priceless. A life that finally made sense.